Doug Flynn joins us now, certified financial planner and co-founder at Flynn Zito Capital Management. The market story is the same day after day. We have a few other stories to talk about with you, but we'll take, by the way, the same old when it's going up like that. First one's Apple. The Apple Watch. The last couple of days we talked about the watch, and there's this company a tech company that makes these blood oxygen sensors says, yeah, Apple, you stole our technology and put it in your watch. So they won the lawsuit against Apple, but now an appeals court today has paused the whole ban. How big a deal do you think something like this is for Apple? Is it small potatoes, or could it be something to watch that's a big deal for a big company?
Apple's watch business is about $17 billion a year, so it's obviously a big deal overall, but this only affects two of their models that uses this sensor. So I think it's something they'd like to have, and I think they think that they've created it, so they're going to want to put it in all their watches. And so it could have an impact on that if they have to turn it off or do something different, or pay them to keep it in if that's how this plays out. But it can turn into something bigger, but I don't think it's big enough to have an impact on Apple overall. I think they just might go a different direction if it doesn't work out the way that they want it to.
We'll watch it as it plays through the courts. And speaking of legal issues, there's a lawsuit today involving the New York Times, which I actually do think is a very interesting story because it could, be something that affects a number of industries. So the Times sued Microsoft, but also this company OpenAI, which is the company behind the world-famous ChatGPT. And, they're saying there's copyright infringement here. And the long and short of it, as I understand it, is basically these AI programs, they'll take everything that's out there, whether it's a New York Times story or any story, and they'll put it in and they'll train their AI bot to work with that. And the Times is saying, wait a second here, this is journalism. We pay people to go all around the world and write these stories, and that's we have a copyright on them. So I wonder how this will work its way through this lawsuit, because it seems to me it'll apply to a lot of other companies, a lot of other industries too.
It's interesting. I feel like we're watching sort of like a potentially significant technological change play out in real time, right? So it's got to work its way through this AI thing. And it's true, they're scraping all this information out there, but a lot of that information is proprietary information by some other company that put a lot of money and resources into it. So in a way, it reminds me of when there used to be like Napster with the illegal downloading of music, and then they eventually banned that, and Spotify came out and everybody gets a half a penny per download. But whatever it is, there's probably some money due to the companies if they're using their info. And their argument, of course, is that we're not using the exact information. We're just using it as part of what we put together. But the interesting thing that I think New York Times put out is they wanted to say, well, maybe we're going to come out with our own AI and we want to use our own information. So you're prohibiting us from being able to do that if you're using our material. Although I don't know how much just a one-sided view of things versus an opposite-sided view of things in an AI version is going to have any real appeal. The whole thing about AI is it's going to get to the truth instead of just someone's truth. So we'll see how that plays out.
Oh, they have a whole bunch of applications for this, though, like companies that take pictures, like Getty takes pictures, and we want to use one of them. We'd have to pay for it, but apparently they could be thrown into some of these AI programs. So I could see how this could become a bigger and bigger issue. Now, speaking of big issues, it's almost the end of the year, and this is a special treat for our viewers. And Doug's been helping us out with our coverage of business news as we've launched the show. But what he does for a living is he's a financial planner, so he's helping people, real people, your clients, get set for the end of the year. So we have your financial planning strategies for the end of the year, what a lot of people talk about. So there's three things here. We'll try to go through them. One is tax loss harvesting, okay. The other is withdrawing RMDs, which we'll explain in a moment, and then Roth IRA conversions. Talk about tax loss harvesting and how important that is. You have an investment, you bought something, maybe you lost a little money on it, but can help you on your taxes, right? That's a big thing this time of year.
Yes. Yeah, human nature is if I bought something and it went down, to kind of not look at it. And this is your opportunity. Now, we're not talking about retirement accounts because you can't take a loss on a retirement account, but in a non-retirement account that maybe you invest in something and it's down. And the hardest thing for people are sell strategies. But one sell strategy is if something you bought has gone down and you wouldn't buy more of it, that's the first sign that maybe you should sell it. And if you do sell it, perhaps you could take a tax loss and save a little money on your taxes when you file them next year. So you only have 2 more days to do that. It's something to get in there, take a look at your account and see if you can do it.
Okay, the acronym there, RMD, that's required minimum distributions, right? From these, this is retirement accounts, right? For older people that we're talking about here. Explain what people should be thinking about.
Yes, and so here there's a lot of information about what's happened to a lot of our clients this year is they inherited an IRA from a deceased loved one, and they don't realize that they have to take mandatory distributions depending on when the person passed away. And so we're finding a lot of people are not up on getting those distributions. You need to get them out before the end of the year. So if you inherit an IRA, or the other side is if you're 73 years old or older, more people know about that, but it's the inherited IRAs I find are a big issue. Get in there, talk to your advisor, or look yourself, call your company and find out, hey, do I need to take a distribution because I need to get it out before the end of the year? So I avoid a humongous penalty and taxes on that if you don't.
Well, that's really interesting because it's something maybe somebody wouldn't think of right away. It's not their own IRA, and then they, they could get hit with the taxes on it. Now, the other one on IRAs is this Roth IRA conversion that you put on there. What's the key there for people, and what should they be thinking about?
So the key there is if the tax laws as they're written right now do not get changed, in 2026, our taxes are going up. People don't seem to realize that. And the benefit to the Roth IRA is that if you have a Roth IRA, you will never pay taxes on that money. That's tax-free. Versus a 401k or a traditional IRA, where that's tax deferred and at some point you will pay taxes on. And so you might be able to convert a small amount of your IRA into a Roth. That is taxable, but it might be better to pay a little bit of tax as long as you don't force yourself into a higher bracket to avoid paying a higher tax later on a much larger amount of money. So at year end, it's a good idea to take a look and say, is there an amount I could convert? Because in the end, no one has ever said I have too much money in my Roth IRA to take out tax-free. And so that's an opportunity that's going to escape you for this year. At the end of the year as well, it's something you want to look at and maybe squeeze in before it's too late to do that as well.
All of these are really, really helpful. I know we get quick takes from you on Apple or some other business story every day, but again, this is what you do for a living, helping real people with real financial questions, and I'm sure that helps some viewers at coming up on the end of the year. So thank you, Doug, for that and for everything else. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good stuff.